This is a story about human connection. One of the things that I'm really missing as I shelter in place with my family are the people that I work with as a personal trainer at the gym. There is this one guy in particular, Bob. Well, I tell you all about him in the video that follows. I made this video several months ago, but in light of what's going on right now, I find the video uplifting, and I hope you will as well. I was at the gym and I was working with one of my clients, and let's call him Bob. And I've been working with Bob now for maybe 7 or 8 months. I see him once a week, and I really like Bob. He's a freaking good dude, and I'll tell you more about him. And it was the end of our session, and he was about to walk out, and then he kind of hesitated and he stopped and he came to hug me. And for a second there, I didn't know what to do. And so the question is to hug or not to hug. So I suppose I need to tell you more about Bob, because Bob is one of the beautiful and unexpected things that has happened to me since I have been working at the gym as a personal trainer. Bob and his wife came in and they started talking to me about training with Bob. And Bob's almost 80. Bob is 78 years old, although you would never know it by looking at him. But when I was talking to them, I realized something was a little bit off with Bob, and I wasn't sure what it was. And he stepped away for a moment, and then his wife told me that Bob has dementia. I don't know if it's Alzheimer. I don't know exactly what the proper term is, but Bob forgets certain things. Like, he will forget from one set of an exercise to the next where to put his hands. And so I had big plans being a new trainer, and I was going to whip Bob into shape. And then I started working with him, and I realized that I was going to have to absolutely adjust everything. My thinking, my expectations, what was my role in working with Bob? And it took a little while to do that, but I got into a rhythm with Bob, and now we see each other once a week. And we go through our routine, and we do the exercises, and Bob works hard. But more important than that, Bob feels like he's making progress. And Bob is listened to, and he's heard. And it's gotten to the point with Bob where he will come in sometimes and his shirt will be inside out. And at first I wouldn't say anything. But now we're to the point in the relationship where I'm like, Bob, you need to go to the locker room. Your shirt's inside out. And he laughs and goes to the locker room and turns his shirt right side in. So when I think about every single one of my clients, the people that I see on a regular basis and help with their health and fitness, they're all Bob in their own way. Whether it's someone with a knee issue, or someone who wants to drop a few pounds, or maybe they have a wonky shoulder or back, or whatever the physical part is that we need to take care of, we take care of that. But more important than the physical part of what we need to take care of, it's the emotional connection that we have with each other. And through that emotional connection, I think that gets them back to the gym next week to see me. So back to Bob. So Bob, at the end of our session, awkwardly kind of steps forward to give me half a hug, and there's this really awkward man hug that takes place. And I step back for a second, and I look at him, and he looks at me. And I said, Bob, do you want a hug? And he nodded his head. And I went in for the biggest chest-to-chest man hug that you can imagine. And I held on to Bob for probably a little bit longer than was appropriate. And it felt great. And we stepped back from each other and we had a moment. So did I hug Bob? You bet your sweet ass I did. And I'd hug him again. Because Bob needed a hug. And frankly, I needed a hug as well. What transpires between the two of us every time we see each other, the acknowledgement, even though it's unspoken, of what's going on with him, the support that he gets and that I give freely, is a beautiful thing. So if we don't find the human connection that's all around us and make that connection, no one is going to do it for us. And all of us, every damn one of us, we deserve that.